Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a small dilemma I have. Do I keep the iPhone Air that I just got? Or do I keep the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I also just bought? I only get to keep one. So which one am I going to get? Let's get into it. Everyone knows the specs of these phones. Everyone watched the Apple event, or you might have seen other YouTube videos. But let's talk about the specs that matter to me, because that's what this video is about. Which one am I going to keep? So first up, the iPhone Air. What I love about this device is that it's super, super thin and it really, really light. I think this is an amazing piece of tech machinery that I would love to carry around, but it's just missing some things that are really important that the iPhone 17 Pro Max has. So let's talk about that. First up is the single speaker. So the iPhone Air only has one speaker when all the other phones, including the 17 Pro Max, has two speakers. But does that really matter to me? For many it does, but for me, believe it or not, it doesn't. I don't really use the speakers on my phone to watch movies or listen to music. I always have my AirPods in. So whether it has one speaker or not, I know on the forums and on the internet, that's been a point of contention. But for me, no, it doesn't really matter. So let's move on to the next one. The next one, which is really important to me, is the camera and the camera features. So the iPhone 17 Pro Max has, as you know, 3 cameras. Has the main fusion camera, has a telephoto camera, and the ultra-wide camera, when the iPhone Air only has the single main fusion camera. I could try to get by with it, but I use this for my content creation. I use it to get pictures of my kids, my family. I also use it to take landscape photos. And something that's important also when you're taking especially landscape photos is your ProRes RAW, your RAW ability. And the iPhone Air doesn't have that. That's a software feature. That's not a hardware feature. So I don't know why the iPhone Air doesn't have that capability. Now, if I really wanted to, I could download a third-party app and get that ability to give me the ability to take the raw photos. But what I think is really holding me back from really going with the iPhone Air is the ultra-wide camera. Telephoto, I don't really use that much, but the ultra-wide I do. So that's one feature that's holding me back from keeping the iPhone Air. But let's go on to the next feature, battery life. Now, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, just the Pro Max series, is supposed to have the best battery life. It's 39 hours here in the US. In the UK, since you get a SIM slot, unlike here in the US, you're only down to 37 hours, but still, that's a phenomenal battery life. So the iPhone 17 Pro Max versus the iPhone Air, you're looking at 39 hours of video playback versus 27 hours. So that's a 12-hour difference. That's huge. But at the same time, the 27-hour of video playback on the iPhone Air, that's the same as the iPhone just last year's 16 Pro. So they're neck and neck with the 16 Pro. Now, does that matter to me? I could probably get by with it because if I really, really needed to, I could just use a power bank. It's not a big deal to me. But I keep my phone plugged in. You know, if I'm at a desk, you know, at work all day, my phone's plugged in or on a MagSafe charger anyway. So to me, not a big deal. To many, sure. But again, for me, that's not going to make me go for the Pro Max. Now, next up, another point, not necessarily a feature, but the materials it's made out of. The iPhone Air is made out of a titanium frame, while the iPhone 17 Pro Max has an aluminum frame. Why does that matter? Because the aluminum frame dissipates heat a lot better. And so not just heat dissipation, but something else that I don't know personally about, but what I've seen talked about on the internet is that it allows for better signal penetration. So you get better cell signal. So if that's the case, that is a big deal. Again, where I live, where I work, whenever I'm around, I usually get pretty good signal anyway. So again, trying to keep and hold on to this iPhone Air, I don't think that's going to tear me away from the iPhone Air and go to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Because first, regarding the heat dissipation, I'm not playing games on my phone, really. I don't really play many games. I'm not doing video editing on my phone. That's what I have my computer for. So I'm not going to be stress testing this thing out. So heat dissipation isn't a big deal for me. And then signal, that's not a big deal for me. Also, just because if I really, really needed the signal, I'm in a situation where I need it. Well, these phones have satellite capability now. So you could call or you could text and use some apps. I have the T-Mobile satellite service also. So that allows me a little additional services to get while using the satellite rather than cell phone towers. So which one am I going to keep? The iPhone Air or the iPhone 17 Pro Max? You know, when it comes down to it, like I said, the speaker, that's a big point of contention. The materials with the heat dissipation, the signal penetration, and the camera system, the 3 cameras versus the 1. I think when it comes down to it, I really use the ultra wide camera. And so I think I'm going to stick with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I love the iPhone Air, but the iPhone 17 Pro Max is the way to go for me. And just holding this, while yes, it's bigger, it's heavier, it's still overall, without comparing to anything else, this is still pretty light. So I'm going to stick with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. If you have any questions for me, I could answer them for you. Just leave a comment below. And thanks for watching.